Some deal news to share this morning as well, involving a storied franchise, the Boston Celtics. The majority owners of which the Grasbeck family has been looking to sell the team for some time. Negotiations have been ongoing for many months. Have reached a deal. Sources are telling CNBC, as well as any number of other news outlets, led by Bill Chisholm, who is the founder of STG. That is a private equity firm. Based in that area as well, along with a number of other potential investors. $6.1 billion is the price tag, perhaps a bit more than had been anticipated, though within sort of a range, and does mark, I believe, Mike and Sarah, the largest number paid for a North American sports franchise, exceeding what Josh Harris paid for the Commanders by about $500 million.
$6.05 billion in 2023.
Yeah. Wow.
In July. I mean, you do want, I mean, this is always a good debate, right? Whether this is the peak in terms of sports valuations or whether it just continues to be an appreciating asset because of things like scarcity and experiences.
And television contracts,
yes,
of which they just signed a new one not very long ago that was very large. Sure. I think $77 billion over 11 years.
Although they're never run to actually generate a lot of cash.
You're not buying them on a yearly return
just an
basis.
Asset play, and it's non-correlated, so you do have, like, private equity and high net worth folks being able to kind of make a asset allocation type strip, but also it's fun to own. I mean, clearly there's non-financial benefits that come.
There's also some tax advantages as well. The losses, in fact, I think.
Exactly. You can run it at a loss.
You can run, and especially if you have another business, you can actually benefit as a result of those losses you're taking on that side, offsetting some of the gains on the other, if I recall.
Yeah.
So that's beneficial as well.
They're winners, right? Didn't they win the playoffs?
They won, or the championship.
Championships, whatever you call it,
they
in
are
2024.
the champions right now.
They've won more than anyone.
And one of the favorites to potentially repeat, although the Cleveland Cavaliers look very strong this year as well.
I know that because my son only likes the winners, and so he likes the Celtics.
Far exceeds, by the way, the valuation paid not that long ago when Mark Cuban sold his majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks to the Adelson family, and that implied valuation was far below.
Under $5 billion.
Yeah, under $5 billion. Let's bring in Mike Ozanian, who follows these valuations very closely for us here at CNBC. Mike, give me your take on this.
Oh, this is astounding news for the NBA for two main reasons. Number one, the Celtics have terrible arena economics. The Boston Bruins owners control the building, so the Celtics get scant revenue from hospitality and luxury seating. The Celtics basically don't make any money unless they go far in the playoffs. So you have a team with bad profitability, bad arena economics, going for over $6 billion. $2 billion more than the previous high for an NBA team, the Phoenix Suns, which went for $4 billion and have great arena economics. Number two, you have a situation where the NBA is looking to expand. They look probably in Las Vegas and Seattle. So this sets a much higher bar for those expansion team prices.
Yeah, it's interesting. We came back to the Maverick sale as well. Is that a one-off? I mean, should things continue to move higher here, or are you a bit surprised? You seem to be, given the economics overall, that they got a valuation in excess of $6 billion.
Yeah, the sale price of the Mavs, $3.33 billion. That sort of had another factor come in where the new owners coming in, the Adelson Group, they're going to be probably putting in a lot of money for a new arena. So I think the Mavs was a little bit more of a one-off. I thought the Celtics would go for about 5.5. It's a great brand. They've won more championships than any other NBA team, and they're the only NBA team in the Boston market, which is good for them, unlike, say, New York, where you have both the Nets and the Knicks. This is a little higher than I thought, but again, the NBA's got that new TV deal that's kicking in next season. That's going to bring up revenue much higher. But again, this is saying, look, if you're a great brand, you're in a big market, you're going to go for well over 12 times revenue.
It also just speaks to the skyrocketing team valuations in general across sports in the NBA. I'm looking at that back when they purchased it, the Grasbecks and Steve Pagliuca and led a whole team of investors, included Jim Breyer and others, $360 million in 2002.
Yeah.
Just skyrocketing valuations. And I was wondering if this is peak or there's ways to go.
Well, I've been thinking it's been peaking for several years now. Apparently not. Look, great intellectual property for sure. And to your point, Have valuations peaked? Well, they're certainly not based on profitability. This is really something more based on the intellectual property and the great brand of the Celtics. And when you're talking about the NBA, one advantage it does have over the other three major U.S. sports is that it's more global in nature. And they've been bringing in a lot of global sponsors. They have a tournament overseas every year now. So I think this speaks to that as well.
Mike, I'm looking at shares of Madison Square Garden Sports Corp. They're up about 2.2%. I don't know if the Dolans are paying close attention here. What do you think?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I think Jimmy Dolan has long said he wouldn't sell the Knicks for less than $10 billion. Shares of that stock are depressed because the Dolan family controls it all. It's not really an arm's length transaction type price. I think the Knicks are probably the second most valuable team in the NBA behind Golden State. I mean, what does this say about the Warriors? We had them, I think, at $9.4 billion or something like that. They might even be worth higher now after this deal because the Warriors have probably the best arena economics in all of the NBA. So this is a huge, huge win for the NBA. And it also speaks to something else, I think, which is local media rights, your local regional sports network. Those rights have faced tremendous headwinds. They've been going down because of cord cutting. Well, what this says is if you have a great national TV deal, that money's shared equally among all the teams in the league, and you're a global brand, those local media rights, even if they are going down, aren't really taking prices down at all with them at all.
And player salaries are going up as well.
Yeah, look, the revenue's growing, the players get half the revenue. So this is great for players as well.
All right, thank you, Mike, for weighing in on this breaking news. The sale of the Boston Celtics for $6.1 billion, excuse me.